time for Straight on the Point with Jesse T from some undisclosed location somewhere in the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jesse T.
Well, it's good to be back on the air with you on a Monday in Southern California. We are live, we are local, and we are just enjoying the Southern California. Coming on winter weather, about 85 degrees here in the Southland. An absolutely gorgeous day in Southern California. Eat your heart out the rest of the country. I think that's why everybody wants to come here. The weather is so darn beautiful. It is in paradise that we live here on the left coast. And yes, we are weird over here, that's for sure. Lots of great stuff to talk about today on the Jesse T Show. Good to have you with us here. The Brown Beauty is back on duty on the air and everywhere from the community to the world. It's good to have you up. Boy, we got a big week of extra special superstars checking in here. We'll be talking about that. But first, want to say a happy birthday to David Shark Freilich. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, David Shark Freilich, who's still on a film set. Hopefully, we'll have him back here for the Wednesday Roundup Wound Up show. And of course, the crew will be back with you. And Dan the Man wants to change his name to Dan the Man, the Latin Lover. So we're going to change him to Dan the Man, the Latin Lover. Yes, and of course, Michelangelo, Mr. Perfect. He's got lots to talk about here, as well as yours truly, Jesse T, the Brown Beauty on duty. That's Wednesday live at 5. But it is a Monday, and it's a good day because it's a clear day in paradise, and we had a nice, refreshing weekend. Lots of beachgoers this last weekend. Temperatures have been warm here in Southern California. And, you know, that's what makes us living in Southern California so wonderful. The bummer side about living in California, of course, is the traffic. The traffic is just something that, well, it's the worst traffic in the world, according to all the last major studies about traffic in all the major metropolitan cities. I thought Mexico City and London and Manila was really bad for a long time. I've been to all those places, and the traffic, it seems like they don't even have any traffic rules, but that's sort of kind of what's happening here in Los Angeles. They don't have any traffic rules, I don't think. I'm going to bring on Lee Baby Michaels for a second because he is Mr. Uberman, and I want to know, he's out there all the time driving the highways and byways of Southern California. I want to know what his philosophy is, besides understanding how the traffic moves from left and right. How do you actually keep your sanity driving every day like you do in this crazy maniacal mesh of chaos?
I don't think about it, just do it.
It's insane, man.
It is. It's beyond, but I just shake my head and go, what an idiot.
I mean, you aren't expouting any Uber rage out there, are you?
No. Sometimes you feel like you want to, but what's the point? What's the point?
Yeah, isn't that the truth, man? It's like
not going to change anything.
It's not going to change anything. It makes you feel good, but that's about it for a few minutes, and
that's it.
You know, and then you know, sure enough, you turn around the corner, a right and a left turn, and someone's doing the same darn thing.
Yep.
It's insane. I mean, what are the worst times to drive during the day? In your experience being out there on the highways so much?
Morning drive or afternoon drive.
Is that in any particular part of the city, or is it just pretty much everywhere?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I've been in every funky four corners of this metropolitan area at those times, and it's insane everywhere. You know, people from out of town have this vision of the 405, but they got the 101, the 110, the 105, the 10, the 101, the 118.
Oh, Lord.
It goes on, the 5. It goes on and on and on.
It's just a never-endless travel and journey of freeway into freeway into freeway. And, you know, we only got here when they designed all the major original freeways in the 1950s, we only got half of them. Can you imagine, then again, half as many more freeways crisscrossing all across Los Angeles and all the valleys and stuff?
And then let's not talk about the airport.
Well, you know, what's going on down there with the airports? You know, supposedly over the last 20 years, they've redesigned the traffic flow, and you have the upper and lower, and they redesigned it about 15, 20 years ago, rebuilt it and all this stuff. But it seems like it's not made a darn bit of difference.
No. They moved 21 airlines around in the last 4 or 5 months, and allegedly that was supposed to help. If it helped anything, it's inside that building. But on the outside, the traffic is just as bad.
It seems like it's even gotten worse, and there's more last minute gyrations left and right, and people cutting you off and trying to get back out in there. The traffic accidents must be bumper, a lot of bumper accidents in there.
Yeah, and certain holidays like the night or day before Thanksgiving,
right?
There's a staging area for the Uber and Lyft guys to go to. It's 1.5 miles away from the airport.
That makes no sense.
45 minutes.
To go, wait a
45
second.
minutes
to
go in and pick up someone.
So when you get a call, it's going to be 45 minutes before you can actually put them in your car.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
No, and sometimes
I had no idea it
you
was
are
that
in
long.
bumper-to-bumper traffic going that distance, 1.5 miles, and they'll cancel on you 30 minutes into it. It's not like you can U-turn and go back.
No, you got to go around the merry-go-round.
You got to go in there anyway.
I don't see it ever getting any better. It's certainly not like Denver International, where they have 50 square miles of airport land in Denver International. They just got that little pocket down there.
El Segundo won't give them any land.
No.
Westchester.
What about that new train that's supposed to come into the LAX up past the 105?
Won't be around to see that. How long is that going to take?
Probably 47 hours to get in.
Hell, they've been working on Santa Monica Boulevard for the last 3 years.
Yeah. Everything takes forever here.
That's just repaving.
Yeah, I'm filling a few potholes. And I bring this up. I bring you in on this because you're like our traffic professional. I mean, I drive a lot. In my other business, I'm always in and out of the 5-county region here.
Yeah.
And but I'm not isolated to just one kind of LA basin area like you are, where you pick up most of the rides and you're jostling back and forth all across this maze in here. In November here coming up, they're going to add 18 cents onto a gallon of gas in November coming up here at the end of this year.
Is that a state thing?
It's a state thing that they imposed. Now, there's a big recall against the gas tax, and there's a big recall against the registration tax, as well as the registration tax for what was not supposed to be taxed on the electric cars. But they're going to get taxed $100 electric car, and the average cost of the registration tax going up in 2018 is going to be $175 onto registration, plus the 18 cents a gallon gas. I was recently, not too long ago, maybe in the beginning of summer, I took a Spartan road trip. I had to cover up into Colorado and Denver area. I was seeing gas at $1.99 a gallon in Denver. Okay.
Wow.
And what are we paying now here? $3.29 a gallon, pretty much.
I got a little spot I go to right now. I filled up on Saturday, and it was $2.79.
Well, that's actually really a good price.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but my daughter has been paying under $2 down in Texas for.
Well, yeah, Texas is a lot cheaper. So here in California, we have the most taxed gas than anywhere else. And over the years living here, they've always used the roads as the hostage against the voters. It's sort of, we're not going to improve the roads and the bridges if we don't raise the gas tax. And that's what they're doing again. And we're talking about $52 billion of revenue that the state is supposedly going to get with these 3 different tax raisings that are going to happen here. And do you really think that they're going to fill all the potholes and correct all the bridges and fill all the bad parts of our roads?
No.
Really?
No.
Come on. If that's true, then what happened to the California lottery 25 years ago when that was supposed to fix all the schools? That didn't happen.
No.
So, I mean, there's a big recall going on. How is 18 cents a gallon going to do to your business? Added on top of the gas. And you've got one of those gas-saving automobiles.
Yeah, I've got a hybrid, and it costs me generally, if I'm almost bone dry, about $43, $44 to fill up. It's a little over 16 gallons. And I've done over 45,000 miles on that car in a year.
So, as I said, this is one of your ways that you make money.
Yeah.
And one of your side businesses.
Yeah, so
it's going to really cut into it.
My registration is going to go up?
100. Well, you have a hybrid car. I don't know what they're going to do. I do know that Teslas and the new Cadillacs coming out and the Mercedes and stuff that are completely 100% electric. They're going to see a $100 addition. That was never supposed to happen when all those initiatives were passed for electric cars and going green in the state of California when the voters voted for it. That was never supposed to happen, but it did. And so not only is there a recall effort on that, there's a recall effort on Governor Brown, but he's not going to be around too much longer anyway.
Is it because there are enough cars out there now to jack the people up, and I'm assuming, did the state give some kind of subsidies to these electric car manufacturers?
Well, that's the $100. The $100 is going to offset the subsidies that they were giving on the tax write-offs for the state of California. Yeah. So it's back to square zero. In other words, they're just dipping your hands into our pockets every which way they can, and we're not going to see any of that money because, as we know, we're a sanctuary state now, and the government has been inching back, the federal government, on the funds. $380 or $390 billion a year come to the state of California from the United States government. And that's a big chunk of change. And that covers a lot of the social service programs. It covers a lot of the highway programs that the federal government takes care of. Some of the forestry lands that the federal government has, BLM land, and all kind of variety of big programs and small programs. And so they're cutting back on that. And so California has to offset that somehow. And one of them is going to be the cannabis, June 1st, 2018, where it goes completely recreational, but not going to see any big money in that for about 6 or 9, 10 months into 2018 because the state is now in the process of figuring out how to tax the money coming in, how to collect and tax it. They don't quite figure that out, but we're figuring it out for them in one of our side businesses. But nevertheless, here's the point. I just wanted to bring you in there for a second because I know you do a lot of driving, and that's gotta hurt your business at 18 cents a gallon on top of $2.79, and you're lucky because most people don't pay $2.79.
Well, see, here's the thing: when you're driving for these rideshare companies, by the time you look at what you net from each ride, pay your expenses, your gas, your car insurance, your car payments, and then brakes, tires. When you, at the end of the day, and now you're talking about a new registration cost, that's another fee, higher fee, and on a weekly basis, you're going to pay another $4 or so per fill-up, as I'm calculating it. So that's another $8 a week if I fill up twice. It adds up. It cuts into your margin of profit, and the profit margin is not that. It's not like
they've been cutting back margin. According to what I've read, and you've told me that Uber's been cutting back on the profit of margin. They make more up in San Francisco. You were saying,
they make $1.50 a mile up there. That's a gross. That's what they charge the customer, the rider, and I think it nets down to about 90 cents to the driver.
And what does it do down here? What are they doing? It's less, isn't it?
Yeah. It's 90 cents per mile, what they charge you.
Wow.
And we get around 67 cents out of that.
It's interesting. I read an article about a week and a half ago for the first time ever in New York City, the city itself, inside Manhattan, New York City, the first time Uber rides have surpassed the cabbie rides by about 25 to 50,000 rides more on Uber than it is on the cabs, and the cabbies are up a creek without any boat. You know that because that trend is going, and that's just Uber. There's Lyft and there's other ones.
There's another one. I think it's called Uno in New York.
You can only speak Spanish to get on that one.
Is that?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have another one called Traficarian. You can only speak Armenian.
Really?
Yeah, Traficarian. Yeah.
No, are you making that
up? No. They have another one called. This is a great one. It's called Oyakachu, and Oyakachu is the Japanese version. Right. Oh, and we can't forget. We cannot forget about our good friends, our beautiful friends over there in Russia. Okay, because they've got their own, and
They got their
they
own.
they cast
Gotcha.
Uber out recently, so they have their own people carrier. It's called Papuski. Yeah. And so you have to speak Russian only. So all those are starting up in America. Hey, look if you can't pay your bills because your employer shortchanged you this last week, you need to blame the Russians. If you get a ticket because you're only going 1 mile an hour slower than the speed limit, you need to blame the Russians. I'm blaming the frickin' Russians for everything.
Well, that's good.
I
They
am.
need to be blamed for something.
They got to be blamed for
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So I'm blaming them for everything. That's right. No,
Well-
seriously. So, I mean, the trend is there.
Yeah,
And I think
exactly.
probably Uber's starting to see that kind of Walmart concept
Mm-hmm.
where they're getting a little bit, they're trying to squeeze you guys for more, get a little bit from less, but they're getting so big
Yeah.
with the new management. So I don't do Uber anymore. I won't ride on Uber. Okay. I want Lyft.
There you go.
Yeah. I
like Lyft,
I
personally.
like Lyft.
When I have to do a ride, I use Lyft over Uber.
They got to get rid of those pink and blue signs, though.
and what?
Those pink and blue signs look way too homosexual for me.
Stop it.
I'm sorry.
I think they're going to merge.
I think you're right.
Yeah. I think they're not going to have any choice but.
Yeah. Well, merging is good. I haven't been doing a lot of merging lately, and I need to do some more merging. Mama T, we need to merge, baby.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. It's been so long.
Quite frankly, I've forgotten myself. I got to get the coloring book from 1926 to figure it out.
The Sears catalog.
Sears catalog had everything.
Oh my goodness.
And we used to call it Monkey Wards, Montgomery Wards.
Oh, yeah.
My dad used to call it Monkey Wards.
Monkey Wards.
Yeah, Montgomery Wards. They had actually. Do you know that Montgomery Ward was a name? That was a real guy's name. And,
Really?
And he was the first one that was the traveling haberdashery salesman on the back of a wagon. He was the first one that went west to sell his goods out of the back of a wagon in catalogs.
No kidding.
Sears and Roebuck, Sears first and Roebuck, they joined forces, right?
Right.
They came later after Montgomery Wards. He had the largest, in fact, he was the only one. When Montgomery Ward's, wagon came to your little western town, I mean, he sold out.
Wow.
And all those catalogs, he got a piece of the action of everything that was sold in those catalogs. And he was the first guy. And then Sears and Roebuck and other companies followed, J.C. Penney's, et cetera. But yeah, Monkey Wards was the first guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'm teaching you a lot.
I never thought about it, but I just assumed that Sears was the pioneer. But
They just had a better business model when they
Yeah.
took over that business. And, I mean, like you could buy a wife from Sears. Quite frankly, it's better than
or
buying a
house.
wife. Look you can go on match.com and get a wife too. The problem is you got to hear them talk. And the Sears Roebuck catalog, they didn't talk. They just looked pretty.
Right. My grandparents.
I'm not scoring a lot of points today, am I?
No. You keep putting hoof in mouth. My grandparents' home came out of a Sears catalog. Seriously.
They bought a home?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could. That's right. They would deliver it and you put it together with the instructions.
That's right.
Different times.
Unbelievable.
Different places. Saying hi to Lorraine Landon, who's on. Hey, what's up, Lorraine? Got to get you in here on the show. Lorraine Landon, boy, I tell you, she has been an actress and she has done so much stuff over the years. She has been in everything. She's a working actress, just fantastic, very talented. Thanks a lot, Lorraine, for checking out. Rhonda Janelli, I like that name. Jay Fortin Time Mob. Well, what kind of name was that? Were your parents drunk or something when they named you? I don't know, but you're cool, man. Daniel Shane Rothelman, thanks a lot. Sabrina Anna Hawes is checking in. Moralisa do Nascimento. Oh, I like that name. The names I can't pronounce, I like. That's right. Okay. Thomas Churchill's checking in on Instagram Live. Thanks a lot, Thomas. Haven't seen you around. Nation's Fire is happening. Thanks a lot for inviting me to the premiere of Rat Pack. I really appreciate that, Thomas. I love you, baby. Buy you a burrito someday. Thank you. Nelly Jimenez and also Valdez Muay Thai. And I think this is Venta Rescue. I don't know. I need to have somebody that has better eyeballs than I do. What's happening in Vegas? Well, today in Vegas, they just released a video early this morning that now here's the newest conspiracy theory. And I do believe there was more than one shooter. Let's just lay some precedents down there. Right from the beginning in the get-go, I said there's just absolutely no way that guy was doing this by himself. And ballistics experts, we went over last week, you shoot off 3,600 rounds. That each round out of an AR-15 or an MP-22 or anything that shoots out the right side and hits you, it's coming out at 400 degrees. That's what that brass. And the more that gun is shot in a row, the hotter that brass becomes. In fact, if that AR-15 was not a military-grade AR-15, then if it was a civilian-grade AR-15, then the barrel would have gotten so hot it would have jammed, shooting 3,600 continuous rounds. There's a difference between civilian guns and military guns, though they may look the same and act the same. The military guns are, of course, made with a much more stronger value to them because you're in the military and you can't have your rifle warp. You can't have your barrel get so hot that it binds up because it is metal and metal does contract and it expands with heat and ice and cold. So, but you would have so many burn marks on that carpet and on that furniture. You would have burn, and you would have so much brass. If you've ever been to a shooting range, invite yourself one day to go out to a shooting range and just hang out there for 2 or 3 hours and watch how much brass is expelled by the guys that are bringing their rifles of all sorts and natures coming out there. It's an amazing thing. In fact, one of the things we always want to do is you want to ask the shooting range people, can I have your brass? Because that's how you repack and reload bullets for reloads, and it's a lot cheaper. But the brass is everywhere. Trash cans filled full of brass faster than you can possibly imagine. There was no brass. And the ballistic expert that we talked about last week even said some more poignant things about how guns and bullets fire distance and how they drop, how the bullet loses its velocity over a period of time. And that being 400 yards, it was the end of a threshold of a .223 round. Absolutely right. 400 yards. If you can drop something at 400 yards with a .223 round, you're probably pretty lucky. You have to have a heavier round with more gunpowder in it to be able to, that bullet to travel a little farther because of the drop rate ratio and all that stuff. And so anyhow, I've always said that there was a second shooter there, maybe even more, but I've stuck by that. Now, of course, the security guard last week was supposed to be a possible suspect, a second shooter. I don't know where that's resolved or not yet, but he's kind of disappeared. Some people have died. Eyewitnesses have died already. So, there's just a lot of ambiguity. Dots aren't connected. Now, the newest one is that witnesses saw a helicopter between Mandalay Bay and where the tower is, where the shooter was shooting, Mandalay Bay and the center where the concert was being taken place down below, a helicopter about halfway up the height of Mandalay Bay, and his light was flashing like a muzzle fire out of that. And I posted that up on my facebook.com/Jesse Terrero for your eyes to see, and you figure it out for yourself. I tell you, to me, it sure looks like a machine gun firing out of a helicopter. Now, we don't know if that video is good, bad, or indifferent, but hey, I didn't think about a helicopter in the dead of night. Yeah, why not? Sure. That could happen. Running dark, no lights, and of course, you don't really have to have one in a helicopter because there are no wires that go across from one side of the road to the other, and pretty much the strip is lit up like a Christmas tree in the dead of night at Vegas if you ever come down there. So that's an interesting thing that's being put right now, and we'll explore more into that, but I did post up that video. And I can't forget about the Pervert Club. Yes, the Pervert Club of Hollywood. And Wienerstein, I call him Wienerstein. Boy, he has a lot of pervert friends. He loves Roman Polanski. And, our ex-president Bill Clinton, a little sexual deviant there he is. Of course, remember, you do remember all the women that did come forth that said that he made advances to them. And of course, Monica Lewinsky. I call her Monica Lewinsky. That's what I used to call her. And, she's copped to it and was abused and harassed. She was just a young intern with the power of the presidency. I mean, that's the ultimate power. So, Wienerstein and that crazy man, Slick Willy Billy, were friends. And, we can't forget about Woody Allen. Yes, the other kind of pervert that marries his stepdaughter, who's far younger than his wife. So he was knocking boots in the house with the stepdaughter when she was, of course, 18, though. But, really, that's kind of a little deviant behavior, I think. Kind of weird, don't you think? I do. So it looks like Wienerstein is getting everybody in trouble. I mean, we got George Clooney, Ben Affleck, we got Oliver Stone, we got Jimmy Kimmel, we've got Wienerstein, we got Clinton, Slick Willy Billy, Roman Polanski, and the list goes on and on and on. And the women are coming out, and the women are coming out, and the worst thing you can have against you, my friends, is a woman that wants to get even. And God bless them. I hope they do, because we got to do something about cleaning up the pedophilia environment of Hollywood and the entertainment business. And you think Hollywood is bad? Oh, man. You guys have no idea about the record industry. I mean, the record industry makes Hollywood look like a kindergarten. All right? You're talking about that. So, I see this thing really expanding out to politicians and all sorts of entertainment industries before it gets done. And we're talking to, reaching out to Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman, if you remember, was 25 years ago. He was on Barbara Walters. He was the first whistleblower of the pedophilia rings that he was pimped out to by his then manager when he was a child. He and his partner, the other Corey, who eventually committed suicide, I believe it was, maybe about 10 years ago. And he whistle blew it all on Barbara Walters' show, and the only thing that Barbara Walters did was look at him deadpan into him and said, you're destroying a whole industry. And that's what her comment was. Yeah, well, too bad, Barbara Walters. What if it was your son or daughter being abused? And apparently, nobody took him for any kind of truth or honesty or credibility. But now, boy, oh boy, time is on his side. So we're going to try to get him in here, because he was one of the first guys who snapped up and made it happen. Saying hi to Michelle Tonelli and James Hart Stern. Neely Jimenez, thanks a lot, Neely. I appreciate that. More people checking in on InstagramLive.com. We're here Monday through Friday, and Facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. Straight on the point, the power of voices. Those are our 3 Facebook channels. Can't forget about Twitter and Blogger and Tumblr. And we also reach out to Livestream and Periscope after the show, directly archived there immediately, as well as Diggy. Over 1 million views on Google+, over 100,000 shares on a monthly basis on our Facebook chain. The network is growing, and it's all because of you folks, and we really appreciate that here on the Jesse T Show. So chime in anytime you want to, and let us know where you're at and what you're doing, and some of the thoughts and what's going to be happening for you this week. Another great week here in Southern California as the weather changes, and it's so beautiful here in the Southland. For so many reasons. People come here to Los Angeles, but they come here always with the idea of many to be a superstar, and to be abused like that and have your dreams crushed by a Wienerstein or others of his nature and ilk. Apparently, this guy has been having trouble all the way back in the 1980s. He would bully men. He liked women, but he would bully men and try to coerce them into being a big bully. Oh, man, I just wish he would have came across my path at any time during my career. I only saw him from a distance at a party one time. Nothing there, nothing at all. Someone pointed out to me, and, that was no big deal. But I just wish he would have bullied me. I'd have laid his butt out. Let me tell you, Jesse T sometimes don't mess around. I probably would have gotten in trouble, but, if he would try to bully me, you get what you got coming. Or I get what I got coming, because at that point, I really don't care whether I win or lose. I just care that I act, because that's what I believe in. And I'm always backing up what I believe in one way or the other. Of course, it was in my younger days. But that is going to further expand more and more and more. So we're going to see how that all turns out. And I hope it does have some kind of positive influence as to how Hollywood will handle itself and will respect others for their talent and not their bedside manner that seems to be coerced and pushed upon people. Very, very bad stuff. Very bad stuff. But hey, the guy's going to be okay because he's worth $600 million. And if he never works again, I'm sure he'll be fine. Saying hi to friends on Instagram. Honor about for life believe, something like that. Thanks a lot. I just can't see it. I didn't bring my Sherlock Holmes magnifying glass. The big fire up in Santa Rosa. Did you see the damage of that? I posted up some video. It's unbelievable. But there's this one video of a police officer who's in his patrol car, and he is driving so fast through the blaze and the fire of this neighborhood. It is remarkable video that comes from his dash cam with the flames and the embers. It's straight out of a Hollywood film. I swear it is unbelievable and just gives you a little understanding of how fast this fire spread from house to house to house to house. And they still have it. I believe it's about 10% under control, maybe a little more. So many people are burned out. Their whole lives are gone. And many people just were sound asleep when the fire happened and didn't even know it was coming and died in their sleep. Those that had swimming pools jumped in their swimming pools. Harrowing stories of people. One lady got on her bicycle, and while her tires were literally melting, she had her 70-pound dog in a backpack in the back, and she's riding on her rims. It's unbelievable, some of these remarkable stories of preserving one's life and helping others. Once again, Americans rising to the occasion. And the firefighters, there's some video out there about the firefighters, something over 10,000 firefighters. Up here in the Sand Canyon fire, we had about 3,500 firefighters. They had 3 times the amount. So many houses were burning. So we have to take care and help them. We're probably talking hundreds of billions of dollars of damage. And it's just... you just sit there with your mouth dropping when you see some of these photographs and some of this video taken from the sky and even from the satellites above. So they're getting it under control, but what a beast that was. And it looks so. I saw a video that said it might have been started on purpose, but they think that it was just because of the tinder that was there. And with the big rainy season, the more undergrowth happened and an electric wire fell down. They don't know the actual cause yet, but I did read somewhere that may have been some sort of arson, but they're getting down to that, and we'll find out in the next couple of days about what's going on there. I saw a recent video, which I thought was really important to talk about, and that's bullying. Bullying is something that was high on everybody's agenda about a year ago, and it got a lot of traction in the news and the media, especially internet bullying. Well, let's face it, the world's changed, and our young people get affected by what their friends, that may not even be their friends, but their friends that they call friends on the different internet and social network media sites, as well as their true friends in person. But some of the severe things that some of our young people are being subject to seeing and hearing, it's causing quite a problem with a lot of young folks, and we saw a lot of suicide and a lot of depression and a lot of that, because that is the primary way people socialize today, especially the last 2 generations, the millennials, and of course what they now call the I generation. Everybody born after 1995 is known as the I generation. So bullying online has become such a monumental thing. There is a video out there which I think every parent and every person should see. It's on my Facebook at facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. You got to check it out. If you were bullying somebody online, what does bullying online look like in real life? So what they did is very creative. They took the actual words that people wrote about people bullying online, that they were on Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook or whatnot, and they actually had actors walk up to some participants that they could focus on and tell them they had just enough information about these people that they knew that they were talking to the right people that were being bullied online, but actually bully them in person so that we could see the real-time reaction of people that were bullied online using the same words being bullied in person using the same words. It is a remarkable video because it really shows what it would be like if somebody said you were a fat, ugly, pimply-faced, no good, dumb, stupid idiot, right? And it's one thing to say it online when you can hide behind the technology. That's something I've talked about many times, is we have generations of people now in America that are afraid to face human beings. We are afraid of competition in this country. We are afraid of confrontation in this country. And we hide behind our technology. Look at the last time I was fired by a radio station, they fired me by email, and I couldn't get in touch with the people forever after then. And that was a Los Angeles station. Now, I'm not going to tell you which one it is, but nevertheless, they fired me by email. Email. That was the first time and only time I was fired by email. Every other time I've been fired by, in person, or told not to come back or whatever. But the point is, this is a captivating video because it really impacts you in a way in which that you understand that your words do mean something. The word is mightier than the sword because the word stays in the heart forever and the sword just cuts and you heal up and you go. But the word stays forever. So you have to really think twice about what you say about people online. And if you're not willing to say what you say to somebody online in person, then keep your big fat mouth shut. That's what I say. If you're not willing to face it up, if you're not willing to go out and for men, if you're not willing to go out and exchange some male bodily fluids, and I'm not talking about what you think, I'm talking about male bodily fluids like sweat and spit and blood. If you're not willing to back up what you say, then don't say nothing, because that means you are a coward if you only say that online. And do you really want to be a coward? Well, maybe you do. I don't know. But I wanted to say something about that. Hey, tomorrow we've got a great guest coming on. Claudio Raymond is going to be in here, a terrific young producer, writer, director in the business. He's been around for several years, and he's making some really good headway. Just finished one of his first movies that he produced, wrote, directed, and starred in. It's a terrific movie, and I wanted to bring him on board because I wanted to talk to him about how do you get started, man? How do you make that whole flick yourself without having to worry about what other people do? And that's the age of today now, is the independent filmmaker. That's what Miramax did. That's what created Wienerstein's great wealth, is that Miramax was the first major independent film production company, which Wienerstein and his partner started. In fact, Wienerstein's brother said he got bullied by Wienerstein growing up. Anyway, the Miramax, that's what they did. They were the one that really set the pace for independent filmmaking and producing. So that's where it's gone today, especially with today's technology. You don't really need to have a whole troop of people. You and a few people can make a great movie. And with all of the special effects you have now in the software, you can make that thing look like a $10 million flick. It's pretty cool how that's done. So we're going to get some input from Claudio and see how his movie's doing. I've been following his career for the last 2-3 years, and I'm really happy and proud of what he's done. I thought it'd be really terrific and exciting for you young movie makers and film makers to hear what he has to say, because, you aren't good in something until you can teach somebody else. That was what my Sifu always said. Another great guest that we're having here later on Thursday here on the Jesse T Show, we have it's not one of, I'm just going to say it straight. This gentleman, Gerald, let me tell you, this guy, it's unbelievable. Gerald Wolfe. Gerald Wolfe is probably, arguably, one of the top 5 casting directors in Hollywood over the last, for 3, 4, 5 decades. This gentleman has casted some of the biggest films, found some of the greatest young actors and actresses, put them in great films, and their careers have gone on to really high levels. This is a guy that I always tried to read for when I was an actor in my 20s. I walked away from being an actor in my early 30s. Of course, I've been an actor my whole life. In fact, I'm acting up right now. I'm always acting up. What can I tell you? Acting is just reality with a little bit of volume turned up on it, really. That's all it is. And you got to manufacture it when they say action. That's it. It's really that simple. It's not much to it, unless, of course, you're going to do Molière or Chekhov, or you're going to do Shakespeare or something like that. But then that's a different kind of acting. That's theatrical acting and classical acting. It's a whole different game. But film and TV acting is actually pretty simple. It really isn't that hard. The hardest part, of course, is meeting the right people that'll give you the break. And that's where those Jerry Wienersteins have destroyed many people's lives, and they should be taken down, baby, down on the carpet, so to speak. Not on the red carpet, but making that white carpet red. Wonder what that means. You can figure that one out. Saying hi to Tiffany Choir, Norma Sanchez, and Joseph Ferraris. Hey, thanks all for having us on. I appreciate that. The Jesse T Show, yours truly, the Brown Beauty, is on duty. Jesse Terrero, always in the place to be, hanging out for you and me. Hey, what else am I going to be? I can only be Jesse T, and we're talking the talk today and walking the walk, because that's what we're doing. So Thursday, we have Jerry Wolf checking in, going to be talking about casting and all the great experiences and storytelling. I don't think he and I are going to have 1 second of quiet time. We're just going to be chipper-chappering back and forth, chipper, right? Well, he's also bringing a special guest, and I'm so proud. I'm so excited and looking forward to a young actress. She's been around, but, she's paying the dues and singing the blues a little bit, but she's got quite a nice little IMDb site going and good credits. Kelly Welty, I hope I pronounced the name correctly. I'm sure I'll be corrected if I don't. That's happening on Thursday. And Kelly Welty, nice young lady, had a chance to talk to her briefly on the telephone. And she's going to be joining Gerald Wolf and myself here on the Jesse T Show. And it's going to be a great time. And you might want to check them out. I'm going to correct myself. I'm going to correct myself right now. Kelly Welty. I said Carrie, but I meant Kelly. So she's going to be joining us, and she's got a lot of work that she's doing now, some big projects that are in check for her. So we're going to find out all about that. Check her out on IMDb, as well as on our website here at facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. Yes, we broadcast every day here, Monday through Friday. And tomorrow, of course, is the big day that we're bringing in Claudio Ramon. And then on Wednesday, we have Wound Up with the Wound Up crew, Mr. Perfect, Mr. Michelangelo, Dan the Man, the Latin Lover is going to be checking in. And the Shark, happy birthday to the Shark today, David Shark Freilich, one of the great superstar soap opera actors on Young and Restless. I did about 10 years, man. It's like doing prison. Hey, man, I did 10 years on Young and Restless. Yeah. Well, I did 2 years on Santa Barbara. I did 3 years on the Young and Restless before yous was there. Yeah, and I did a total of 5 years, all kinds of roles there in General Hospital. But he had a nice long run with the principal starring role, so terrific actor, stuntman, martial artist, and just great to have him on the crew here, the Roundup crew. Man's got a word, and he puts it right to it, and straight on the point, of course, as we explore the world, according to Terrero. That's Wednesday, Wound Up. The crew's going to be back in line, and we're going to be having a good time, and we want you to be a participant in that at 424-227-9461. And so we covered all that business, and I wanted to kind of touch bases on some of those things there because I think they're important. And, so a couple other things I thought were pretty interesting that are coming up here that seem to be bothering me a bit. And, all those protests that we had over here in Los Angeles, downtown LA, when Trump became president, all those protests, remember the hundreds of thousands of people that were out there? If you were out there protesting, I want you to understand something. I'm going to call you something right now that's really not going to settle well with you, because I'm going to call you out. Jesse T is going to call you out. You're out there protesting Trump. You're out there protesting all the things you don't like about him. You're out there protesting his decisions, his executive orders. You're out there protesting Congress, protesting police shootings, protesting this, protesting that, protest, graffiti, break windows, turn over police cars all across this nation, not just in downtown Los Angeles. And you're out there just creating a lot of mayhem and chaos and anarchy. Yeah. Every single one of you are hypocrites. Every single one of you. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what background you came from, what country. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your political affiliations are. I don't care what your sexual appetite is. It doesn't make any difference to me. Young or old, I don't really care. If you were out there protesting all these protests earlier in the year, and it was really that important, what about little boys and girls getting raped, sodomized? What about women, 20-year-olds, being propositioned by brutish pigs in the entertainment business? What about young men being propositioned for certain activities that they are being imposed upon to do? Sexual, drugs, illegal activity, whatever it takes, by the power-hungry, greedy, power-monger, mogul pieces of varmint excrement. Why aren't you out in the streets across this nation protesting that? What if that was your daughter, my friend? What if that was your son, ma'am? How would you feel? How would you feel? What would you do about it? Wave your hands in the air like you just don't care? Obviously you are. I don't see one person protesting anywhere across this nation about the pedophilia, human trafficking. Human trafficking. Yeah, I said it. Anytime a powerful entity imposes him or herself on somebody else and makes them do something and tries to lock them up in their hotel room or trailer, you're trafficking, baby. Simple. Making somebody else do something. At the very least, you're abusive. Why is America, you people, who took off of work and school, not protesting against that? Against Hollywood? Against how it's done? Against the music business? Why are you not protesting? Does that not mean anything? To protect the young people of this nation? When they're just first starting out? You're a hypocrite. Flat, straight, on the point, and simple. You are a hypocrite. With no compassion and no empathy. You don't care. Why aren't you turning your TV sets off? Stop going to the movies. All you NFL people who sit in these stands, you protest against that idiot Colin Kaepernick, that's what I call him, Kaepernickle, because he's a knucklehead. You protest against watching the NFL. Why aren't you protesting against the abuse of women, the abuse of men, the abuse of children, the abuses in Hollywood? Why aren't you protesting that? The cat's out of the bag, man, and it's going to get bigger. Politicians are going to fall. It might even be the president. It might even be your local congressman. Might be your mayor. CEOs are going to fall. TV, network, and movie moguls and cable moguls are going to fall. It's widening. And it's spreading. And it should. Why aren't you out there doing something? Hypocrites. Yep. Hey, I fight human trafficking. That's what I do. I've been doing that for some time. Coalition Against Human Trafficking, CAHT, CAUT. For 7.5 years, active every single day, out at night, chasing down pimps and human traffickers, reporting them to the Vice and FBI and DEA, INS, whoever would talk to me, the mayor, Chief Charlie Beck. I still do that. Why aren't you doing something? Is our children not important? Are they not important? Because a 22-year-old is just a child. Now that's the world according to Torero. And now you're straight on the point when it comes to my feelings about that. Moving on, though, here on the Jesse T Show. Good to have you along with me. Always love to hear your comments. Chime in, pass it on, share it out, view it, like it. Support us on YouTube, Jesse Torero. We got to build that site up, and we want you to be a part of it because that's where we're at, podcasting every show. It's archived there on YouTube. YouTube, Jesse Torero. Also, we archive on the Power of Voices. Power of Voices is our main radio outlet as we broadcast across America and around the world. We're in everywhere, nook and cranny that you can find and hear us. We're there. Pop it in. We're on. Just like that. Tons of shows. Download our free app, thepowervoices.com. Check out great shows like the one we have at 10 o'clock in the morning with my nemesis, who I love very much. And we go at it like we did this weekend in texting. I guess he just was bored one day sitting at the LA airport. And he was texting me some radical stuff, and I was texting him. And we were having like brotherly fights, man. Right hook, a left hook. I took one on the chin. He took one in the belly. I took one on the nose. He took one in the chin.
It was fun.
It was fun. It's fun. He always likes giving me a hard time, Lee Michaels. 10 to 12 here, every day of the week. The show's growing, getting bigger. A lot of people viewing. What's the secret, man?
Having a face for radio.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to get him to come out. I'll introduce you. I'll hook you up, man. No problem. I'll hook you up. Of course, I might be brought down in a Wienerstein investigation if I do that. Thank God I got Mama T. Woo! I tell you, I'd be in some serious trouble. Hey, look at, we got a lot of stuff happening this week, and we want you to be a part of it. So we're always here. We got about 70 shows, lots of eclectic variety of shows. We got the sports show with Greg Bell. We got TLC. Boy, that girl's tearing up the award scene. Every time I turn around, she's getting some new darn award. Thank goodness and congratulations, Tracy Glenn Cohen. That's right. So she's doing great. Good to have her. We're going to be out there on the award circuit, too. The show's coming up here. We're going to be out there at AFM. Dan, the man, the Latin lover. I'm going to unleash him on AFM. That's where all the marketers and distributors come to buy films. I think I'm going to unleash him and say, Dan, the man, the Latin lover, let's see what you can do. Get myself in serious trouble. That's right. I always know where the exits are. Exit. Stage right. The fastest way to get out of a problem is to run. Run fast. The opposite direction. Don't stick around. Hey, you know what Gerardo Rivera says about Puerto Rico? is that the media has been lying. He was down there for like a month. You know, he's Puerto Rican. That's where he came from. And he said, it's just a one big fake news farce. Well, that figures. Fake news, fake news, fake news. You don't really know what news is today. In fact, I don't think there is any news. I think it's just all entertainment now. Like the old-time journalists who were concerned about reporting and investigating and getting to the real crux of the story. Didn't really matter what side of the fence they were on. It mattered they got to the story. That kind of news media, Edward R. Murrow is gone and gone forever. I think all we're going to have to do is try to figure out what's real and what's not real, and that's pretty hard to do because it's hard to figure out what news stations, what news sites, what new websites are good, bad, or indifferent. You got to do like 14 hours of investigation to make sure. There was a story today that Morgan Freeman died, 80 years old, and it was a fake news story. I saw that and I went, oh, no, not more. He's one of my all-time favorite actors. I just love him. I'd watch anything. I'd watch Morgan Freeman fart on the toilet, eating a burrito and reading a comic book magazine. I love that guy. Just a great actor. And when I saw a little report this morning early up when I got up that he died, 80 years old. I said, oh, no. So I had to go to SAG. I went to the SAG after website. I went to a couple TMZ. I went to a couple his own publicist website, and it was a farce. It was a fake news story. How stupid, huh? Yeah, how stupid could that be? Why would anybody want to do that? It's so funny where we've come down to and what we're come down to. Just amazing. All right, so as we come to the end of the Jesse T Show, saying hi and thanks to all our friends who have us on, Joseph Ferris, Norma Sanchez, Tiffany Scher, Mitchell Tonelli, James Hart Stern, Neil Jimenez, Laureen Landon. Thanks a lot, Laureen. We got to have you in here, Laureen. You got to get in here. Come on. Man. Rhonda Janelle Jones saying hi to Jay Fortin Media, Foss, Free Chingba, Chingwelakaba. I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name. Instagram line, Thomas Churchill checking in. We've had Thomas on. Great director. Man, he is so busy. So talented, too. Got to check out his movies. Just terrific movies. Checkpoint. And he's got something called Nation's Fire, and he's got Pack Rat. Should have, Rat Pack. Yeah, had to find out about this one online. I love you, Thomas. You know that. Sound everybody on Instagram Live who checked in with us. It's the Jesse T Show, Monday through Friday, right here from 5 to 6. Good to see you. Good to hear you. Good to spend some time with you. I got to go do some Spartan training and work out. You have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Claudio Ramon is in. Up close and personal right here on the Jesse T Show. The world, according to Torero, you're straight on the point, and the Brown Beauty is off duty. Yeah, I'm in a shirt and tie today. I had a big bankers meeting. I feel important. Woo, baby. Yeah, I look pretty good in a shirt and tie, don't I? Yeah.